Welcome to Tech News of the Week with your host, Cthulhu. All hail Cthulhu.
Welcome to Tech News of the Week. This is our weekly tech news podcast where Chris and I dissect 4 interesting announcements that we found in the tech news. Chris, why don't you go first?
Zscaler was not hacked, or were they? I mean, probably not, but still maybe. We'll see.
What? Okay.
Complicated headline, I know. Earlier this week, a threat actor with the intimidating name of Intel Broker announced that they had breached Zscaler and would be selling internal company data. Now, this one was a bit of a bombshell, as Zscaler is, even according to the threat actor's notice, quote, one of the world's largest cybersecurity companies. In fact, if you use Zscaler in certain configurations, they effectively just hide all your digital assets from the internet entirely. So if they got breached, it's going to be a problem. As soon as they saw the notification, Zscaler started publicly investigating, and just about a day later announced effectively that there was no breach and Intel Broker was full of shit. What they claim was broken into was a, quote, test environment, which basically means a mini version of a Zscaler instance that's used for training and or proof of concept. It wasn't connected to any customer data. It wasn't connected to Zscaler environment, and thus there was never any data available to steal. So likely what happened in this case was, probably somebody spun it up, pointed it at the internet, lazy password scheme, opportunistic Nessus scan, and a threat broker who wanted their name in the papers. Interestingly, this kind of thing happens a lot. Attackers will go to lengths to greatly exaggerate their accomplishments in order to strike fear into the hearts of all who hear of them. Now, in this case, the threat actor still claims that they actually got somewhere real and is doubling down on their claims, stating it's not a test environment. IDK what they are talking about anyway, without sharing anything that could reasonably be referred to as proof.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of skepticism on the Twitters over this, with people lining up to claim that everybody's lying, corporations can't be trusted, and the Mets suck. All things that are likely true.
Especially that last one.
It should be noted that Intel Broker had another breach of HSBC and Barclays shared on the same day, and that one did include detailed breakdowns and sample information from database dumps, something we didn't get from the Zscaler situation so far. So it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing shakes out, but I have my guesses.
Fair. Assah Linux reaches new milestone. Remember Assah Linux? We did like a whole episode on it. It's a Fedora Linux distribution meant to run natively on Mac hardware, specifically the M1 and M2 chips. As we noted in the episode, your results may vary. Use with caution. See your doctor if you experience crushing euphoria exceeding 30 minutes. Fedora Asahi Remix 40 claims to give a smoother experience than prior editions and works across all M1 and M2 devices. It comes with KDE Plasma 6, although you can use GNOME if you prefer. Kevin Purdy over at Ars Technica took the distro for a ride on his MacBook Air M2 and reported back that in a few hours of use, I encountered no crashes, no visual oddities, and only a bit of harsh speaker clipping when adjusting the volume. Not bad. The installation process seems to have been relatively painless, starting with a curl command and then an automated wizard that walked you through the installation. Despite a solid experience, Kevin noted that the biggest barrier to adoption for now is the lack of 64-bit ARM software. Slack, Steam, and many other common applications are simply not available natively. You can use a browser-based version as a workaround, but sometimes that's not feasible or desirable. For the Asahi project, this is their second major release, and the results are promising. As long as Apple doesn't turn their lidless legal gaze on the project, great things could be in Asahi's future.
VPNs attackable via DHCP mechanism that has little to do with VPNs themselves. So, VPNs, right? These magical little software setups and machines that create a secure tunnel from wherever you are to wherever your data center is. It's a dated technology for sure, but one that has been considered pretty safe. Ordinarily, hacks around VPN have been aimed at the specific VPN devices, left open administrative ports, etc. This week, it was announced that a 20-year-old attack can actually be used to allow an attacker to, quote, read, drop, or modify leaked traffic while the victim maintains connection to the VPN and to the internet. Yikes. This attack is called tunnel vision, clever, and in short, it allows the creation of a man-in-the-middle of attack using DNS that is effectively undetectable to the end user. So it's important to note that the attack does require a user to be connected to an already hostile network. But once the attacker has control of, say, your local Starbucks Wi-Fi, they could add a little used setting in DHCP called option 121 to override default routing rules. By adding this extra hop to the network, the encryption that VPN provides will happen after the attacker's point of listening. Interestingly, this will not work on VPN connections initiated from Android or from some flavors of Linux because they do not permit option 121 at all. They just don't use it. It's pretty funny because it says it in the Android spec that they don't use it. They don't explain why, and I was too lazy to look it up.
Fair.
It is kind of wild, though, that an attack as simple as this has taken so long to even get a CVE. But there is, of course, the possibility that other attackers already knew about it. Ordinarily, threat actors don't publish their findings.
One could suspect that this may have been a known secret at many government-sponsored organizations.
Perhaps.
Congress still sucks, drops broadband discount ball. Not to get all political here, but Congress is still doing a terrible job at actually governing the US. If the metric to guide them was petty partisan squabbles, they would be killing it 10 out of 10, no notes. But doing things that benefit the electorate, not so much. Case in point is the latest blunder to allow a discount on broadband for low-income families to lapse. The $30 discount was a boon and acknowledgement that internet access is a basic requirement in our modern society. Try to get by without one and you'll quickly see what I mean. Republicans have criticized the program as wasteful, to which I can only point in askance at the current military budget, which was $858 billion in 2023. And yet, $30 per low-income household for essential broadband, that's the real problem. The Affordable Connectivity Program will run out of money in mid-May, and as of right now, there is no sign that new funding will be put in place. It's important to note that according to the chairwoman of the FCC, Jessica Rosenworcel, 68% of ACP households stated that they had inconsistent or zero connectivity prior to ACP. I guess they can now all head back to their public library to get internet access, right? Good thing those libraries aren't also under assault by political actors. Oh, wait. Never mind. All right, that's it. We're done. Go away now. Bye.